Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. We are back once again with our weekly podcast, Tru Heel Heat 116. On this edition of Tru Heel Heat, we will be discussing the latest wrestling news, including all the fallout from AEW Revolution, with a former WWE World Heavyweight Champion signing with the company, an action-packed card, and one of the most deflating botches and endings to a pay-per-view. Probably in wrestling history, but definitely in company history. Week 68 of the Wednesday Night Wars, with two huge shows of WWE NXT with Finn Balor versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship, and a huge AEW Dynamite with a huge closing angle with the Inner Circle being shaken up during the War Council, an enormous main event announced for Impact Rebellion, the latest in the New Japan Cup, and preview and predictions for Impact Sacrifice, and more. I am back once again with the beautiful, the lovely Miss Krssi Love.
Hello, hello, hello. Hey guys, what's going on? Brooklyn, stand up.
Yes, and happy birthday, Biggie. Thanks for repping that during his birthday week, Krssi.
Thank you.
And we are back once again with the resident Tru Heel alcoholic himself, Top Guy JJ.
Oh yeah. Brooklyn, stand up. You know, March 9th was our close to 20 years already. Wow, almost.
It's been a while.
Yeah, wow.
And this week, we have another special guest. We have another podcaster extraordinaire. He is one of the hosts of Ricans of Wrestling, a content creator and host for Sportskeeda Wrestling. This man watches a whole bunch of professional wrestling out in the Florida area. The one, the only, Jose Gonzalez.
Bam, 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 bam.
That background,
This is almost a dream come true, because it would have been even better if we were all in person.
Yeah.
This is a close second. Guys, thanks for having me, bro. I'm really hyped up for tonight. I got my drink ready. Let's talk some wrestling, bro.
I love the name of your podcast. I love it.
So our podcast, we've been doing our podcast since 2016, and it's just been growing and growing. And it's not just for Ricans because of the name of the show, but Ricans is also in American, so Americans, so this for them too.
Hello.
So it not just white people watch wrestling, everybody watch wrestling. So we've had the fortune of interviewing some big names in the lucha libre world. Current top guys in AEW. So yeah, it's been an awesome experience and an awesome journey.
Nice.
Yes, you've been doing great stuff, so we're very happy for you to join us. You have one of the greatest backgrounds of any guest that we've had on the show, so thank you for that as well.
Hey, no, it's all about production quality. If I can bring that onto your guys' show, hey, why not?
Oh, of course, got to bring that to the table. So this edition of Tru Heel Heat is brought to you by our friends over at Powered 4 TV, one of the best streaming sites in the UK. You can get 50% off your first month over at Powered 4 TV by the promo code SP3. Over 40 different promotions going on over there. You can see stars like Pac, Phoenix, AJ Styles, all available on Powered 4 TV. So check it out, for sure. And of course, this is a reminder to you guys watching, like this video, share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family. Of course, there is the subscribe button or the iCard. You could click on that to subscribe to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. And don't forget to click the bell and press all so you always get alerted whenever we get new content. And we start off every Tru Heel Heat with our Tru Heel roll call. This is for you guys, everyone supporting Tru Heel Heat on YouTube and social media. First of all, we start off with our top 3 conversation starters, the Tru Heel Trinity. We got Jermaine Packman coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is James Wims. He's one up from last week, Top Guy. So at least he heard from that.
You got pushed a little harder, but I see you going up. You stepping it up. I see you.
And coming in at number 1, 2 weeks straight, we got Charles Kirkhoff. And a couple of Tru Heels that we got to shout out. Carlos Navarra, Russell Harrison, Raw Light, Andy Heater, Notorious One Greg, and Johnny Vaca. So a couple of those from Twitter as well as the Facebook world. And our subscriber highlight we had on Tru Heel Heat 115. Frantic World says, this was a really good podcast today. I like your AEW predictions and your ideas on how the pay-per-view will play out. And I hope AEW will have a Survivor Series type of pay-per-view so we can see AEW versus Impact, AEW or AEW versus NWA. We also had on Tru Heel Heat 115, Kwame Shafir said, I had very low expectations for the Shaq Jade versus Cody Velvet match, but that match became one of those matches that was better than what I expected it to be. Whoever planned and structured this match should definitely be praised. Shaq looked good, and I was very impressed with Jade Cargill despite how super green she is right now. And I see potential in Cargill and a bright future ahead of her. This match to me is the most fun wrestling match of 2021 because the match is such good shit. And finally, we had for New Japan 49th anniversary and New Japan Cup preview, Kayfabe Tactics. He says, I enjoyed the anniversary show. I know you two are not the biggest fans of Khan, but I really enjoy him. I think he needs a bit more vicious when he's on the attack, but I think he has a ton of potential. The main event was great as expected. It just gives me even more hope of a Bushi-gun, and can't wait to hear your opinion. Thanks for the review. So thanks to all you guys who supporting Tru Heel Heat on social media and on YouTube. But we got to start off this podcast with what we missed, and what we missed was, of course, AEW Revolution, which was headlined by the exploding barbed wire death match. Kenny Omega defeated Jon Moxley in Bell to Bell, which was a really great wrestling match. He got the win thanks to help from the Good Brothers, the Impact World Tag Team Champions. They beat down Moxley after the match, and they were going to leave him in the ring for the explosion, but Eddie Kingston came down to save his former friend and put his body over his. And then there was no bomb. There was no bomb at all. There was sparklers. There was a little poof, a little smoke, and that was about it.
There was more pyro during the entrances than the bomb exploding.
There was more pyro during Gilbert's entrances or Kane's entrances during the Attitude Era than it was at the end of this pay-per-view. So let's ask Jose first, our special guest. What was your thoughts on, let's separate these things, because I feel like a lot of people are not separating these things. They are associating the explosion with the hard work that Moxley and Omega put in the match. So let's view everything in separate forums. What was your thoughts on the match, the post-match angle with Eddie Kingston, and then the explosion?
So match-wise, I thought the match was phenomenal. I thought there was a brilliant display of technique from both competitors. Moxley, just like Omega. Omega he was in a different type of gear on Sunday night when it came to that match. Obviously, having the help from the Good Brothers, that didn't help out. The whole explosion countdown situation and Kingston coming out. What I liked about Kingston coming out was that it kind of like touched back on the storyline between him and Jon Moxley and almost reconciling when we see that on Wednesday night. But just kind of like getting on him and selling that he's completely blacked out after a dud of an explosion, which was completely underwhelming. And just like Callis said, oh, you're mad because you didn't get what you expected? Well, yeah, you guys sold it to us as going to be this massive explosion. You guys showed B-roll of the Japanese footage of these death matches that were going to be so chaotic, almost Armageddon-like, where the ring explodes and just is this plume of a cloud of smoke going up, and we didn't get that. So I was really let down about that. They could have really done it a really good way. And I love what they did on the WWE side, not to bring that up real quick, on Raw, where they kind of gave him a little jab at the end of Monday Night Raw with their explosion. So overall, the match without the ending was a good match. It overall was a good match. However, a lot of people that are just AEW viewers, casual viewers, not people like us who analyze and report this stuff, they're going to take that pay-per-view and they're going to be like, that entire pay-per-view was garbage because of the way it ended. Yeah. You know, you have, if you build up this pay-per-view had what, 2 or 3 months worth of build-up, and you end the way that you did, that's kind of problematic.
Yeah, it's like what Vince McMahon always says. It's how you finish. They only remember the finish is what he usually says, and that's what a lot of fans' kind of viewpoint was on the entire pay-per-view coming out of Sunday. So, Krssi, what was your thoughts on the explosion and the performance of Moxley and Omega during the match?
Okay, so this match was the reason I ordered the pay-per-view in the first place. Because I wanted to see the match, a whole barbed wire death match. Never seen one before. So the like Jose said, the match was good. It was I got color, I got everything, and it's unfortunate that the ending did what happened. You know, the ending came out the way it did because the show was good. That match was good, and it's unfortunate that ending was the ending of all for the whole pay-per-view, and it's sad. Eddie Kingston oversaid, like, did he not hear that the stuff didn't explode? Like, I'm because I'm sitting there and I'm like, I know I'm high, but I'm not that damn high where this is like this now. I know I had a drink.
I know what you mean.
I had a drink, and I'm like, I know. Because I'm like confused. I'm like, why Eddie not moving? Like, did he like have a seat? Like, did something I thought something like really happened to him where he could not get off of Moxley. I'm like, okay, now you're suffocating Moxley because you're really, really heavy and you're on top of this man. I'm like, this is not right. But, you know, once they got him up and, you know, John was okay or whatever. Well, he wasn't really okay. But, you know, once they did all that, I was like, dude, did you not understand or hear that? Okay, maybe you should have came with a plan B just in case. So just do something else. Improvise. Like, you're professionals. You can do it. Like, John is not going to say, no, you should have got off me. Like, the stuff didn't explode. So let's do something else. Like
I feel like he should have probably, like, so Kingston should have, like, put his head up, realized that it wasn't a big deal, help Moxley up, and then maybe walk backstage. That would have been a better ending,
right?
Than the way that it did, because AEW didn't release what Moxley said because they cut off the broadcast.
Right.
They showed afterwards when Moxley was like, well, Omega can't build a bomb worth
exploding reed worth of shit.
Right. And that was the unfortunate part too, because it's like, okay, that part like told us, okay, yeah, like we already know that this was a dud and something happened, and they had no control over that. That, you know, they're wrestling, they're doing their part, but, you know, Kingston just was like overselling and just was like, dude, like, I know you can hear it wasn't that damn loud in there. So.
Yeah, it really came down to communication between them, because, you know, Tony Khan obviously is backstage and he sees the explosion. He should have communicated to the announce team to not go ahead and sell it the way they did. And
correct.
Like, oh, it was a blunder or a botch, or it went wrong. You know, the announcers are the voice of the viewer watching.
Right.
So they are the ones that are supposed to be communicating this to us. And when they act like that was a big explosion, it takes away the trust that the viewer has in the announcer. And that hurts everything. And then Jerry Lynn and the guys coming down. Why don't you just tell Eddie Kingston, like, stop selling, stop selling, get the fuck up. It ain't go. Like
they tapping him, like we're thinking that something is really wrong.
But basically, like Jose said, Moxley cut a promo after the show that AEW released on social media, saying that Kenny Omega is that one hell of a wrestler, but he can't make an exploding ring worth the shit. Yeah. And then Tony Khan kind of doubled down on that explanation and kind of said during the post-media scrum, what did people expect? Did they expect us to blow them up? And yeah, it was just...
I mean, don't sell me this type of match if that shit ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, it was
just... my damn money. I could have watched it on YouTube afterwards. Or you watch the round table.
But what you said was the perfect...
It's like buying a Floyd Mayweather fight.
Yeah.
Right!
Or a Mike Tyson fight. It's over in like 20 seconds. Yeah, but yeah, like what you said, Krssi, though, explains kind of what this botch felt, because we had a lot of people during the round table kind of tell us, oh, this is top 3 botches of all time. And I was like, I can't go that far. I don't think it's on the level of a Shockmaster or anything like that. But I will say this is the botch that made me feel the saddest. This is the most deflated that I've ever felt after a botch, because everything around it was pretty much perfect.
Right.
Like, the match was exactly what it should have been. We got explosions, we got barbed wire, we got blood. It was exactly what, and we got one of the greatest kick-out spots of all time. Moxley putting his foot on the ropes to get the explosion to break out of the One Ring Angel. One of the best spots of the entire year was right there. And then Eddie Kingston coming down, that angle would have been amazing if there was an explosion. So, Top Guy JJ, what are your thoughts on, first of all, AEW's response to the explosion, but what was your feelings after the explosion went down?
I think AEW had the perfect response because it's kind of like, here, let's give ourselves shit before everybody else gives a shit. So basically, they're eating their own crow. They're eating their own crow. It's like they're eating their crow, and they are joking on themselves. Like, they're putting the joke on themselves. So it's like they already knowing that they fucked up. Like, this was not an accident. This was something. No, this was an accident. This is not something that was done on purpose. This was a complete fuck up. Like, but I don't want to take away from all the work that they put in for this entire pay-per-view, because that match, that shit gave me some anxiety attacks. when Kenny hit that bump on the ropes, and then that shit popped off at the ropes, and then the freaking the paradigm shift into the barbed wire tables. And then as I was at that kick, so no one has still kicked out of the One Winged Angel because Mox's foot leaned into an explosion to break the count. So it just they choreographed this so well. They did such an amazing job with this match. This match was so fun. That countdown was I was hot too, so that countdown I was like, yo, this shit is about to pop off. Like, this ring is about to do some SmackDown implosion shit. Like, at least the only thing that I wish that they had something to do with something to make the ring rattle, or something to do to make the ring have an effect. Because the ring all standing in one piece and basically not even doing anything of any sorts to make Eddie Kingston sell, because they're professional wrestlers. They're not directors. Right. So they're going to do their job. He did his job. He leaned on top of Moxley, and when he leaned over, he just looked like he had a full-blown anxiety attack.
Right. Like I thought something happened to him.
He had a full-blown anxiety attack, and you can't just shake off an anxiety attack and pop up. Like, it doesn't happen. So Eddie Kingston did a phenomenal job, and then they started to throw the egg on their own head. They started to throw it in their own face. But obviously, the shots is coming, and it's like, again, if people have watched this show or this podcast, people understand now. That's kind of why I rate pay-per-views the way I rate them. I rate them from the start, and I rate them from the finish. Because all that shit in the middle, you're never going to remember. I swear to God, if I never see another Battle Royal for the rest of my life, I will be completely happy with that. That Battle Royal was absolute shit.
Oh, you're bugging.
Whatever.
You're bugging.
Whatever.
A lot of people thought that was the best match on the show. That match
was a clusterfuck
that
of
was
like
great.
30 dudes, and it was like 2 minutes of meat in that shit with a bunch of nonsense that fuck. Yo, everybody all of a sudden, have you ever played a video game where you basically start off at like half a life? Everybody has half a life in these battle royals because they all are so subjected to any halfway signature move, and then they fly over the top, bro. Like they fly. Like I'm good. I'm good on that shit, bro. I'm good. I'm good on the battle royal overselling. But other than that, that's my only call out on it. But other than that, like the show was phenomenal. I really enjoyed the pay-per-view. I really enjoyed the whole pay-per-view. I'm not gonna let my enjoyment get spoiled by like 2 minutes of dud. Because anybody, you could get a dud from a fireworks shop. You could get a dud from any it could be a dud anywhere. But the fact that it happened on live pay-per-view is kind of like, oh yeah, egg in the face.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to get one thing in really quick, and just kind of encapsulate this whole situation with the dud explosive that happened on Sunday night. And it might be an unpopular comment, but I'm going to say it, and I wanted to simmer in on you guys.
Okay.
AEW is not an entertainment company. They don't have the same resources when it comes to putting on some type of a spectacle or a show or even something cinematic on live TV where we can actually buy it in. They don't have that experience. They're a wrestling company. They still have to get there. They're only 2 years old, so I'm just gonna leave that there.
Jose, I'm gonna respectfully disagree with that because you're going to do something like that. At least make sure it works. But again, these are fireworks. They're fireworks. They're unpredictable. So you can't put a prediction on if you're gonna decide to step into the lane of fireworks. You're gonna have to take the pros and the cons with it because everything in that death match worked to perfection. The shot to Jon Moxley with the barbed wire explosive worked perfectly. Everything worked perfectly except the end. That's the gamble you take with fireworks.
Now, my question is, though, because I know, like, in some shows in WWE, especially like when WrestleMania was in town, they would rehearse the fireworks stuff prior to going live on pay-per-view. So I'm questioning, did AEW, at least in that last spot, did they even reherse that spot?
Yeah.
Or
They did.
Was that even the intention to go like that?
Right. That was my question. I was gonna say, if this happened. Okay, go ahead.
Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio confirmed that they did test the explosions. They had been testing the explosions for weeks on that. It's just when it came time to actually do it, it just didn't work out. And that's the like JJ said, that's the risk that you take playing with explosions. It might not work out when the time comes. So we'll talk about it a little bit more when we get into what happened on Dynamite, how they responded to it on Dynamite. But we also had at Revolution, Christian Cage was revealed as the mystery Hall of Fame worthy signing for AEW. He did an interview this week on Sessions and said that Jon Moxley was the person who convinced him to come to AEW. Fightful Select reports that sources from WWE stated that they weren't completely sure that he was making the jump, but guessed he might be, since he hadn't appeared on WWE programming after the Royal Rumble. Higher-ups in the company said that Cage not being referenced on WWE TV wasn't a coincidence. While they were let down that Cage didn't sign, it was on the WWE for not locking him down to a contract. One talent said that if this move makes Christian happy, they're happy for him and spoke highly of him. So I will start with you, Jose. Do you think that Christian Cage lived up to the hype from AEW?
Not yet. Not yet. I honestly thought it was going to be Kurt Angle. That's who I thought it was going to be, the guy that was going to show up. But
Right?
I'm a little disappointed, because I really wanted to see Edge and Christian versus the New Day, or Edge and Christian versus
Yes.
business. I really wanted to see that. I don't want to be that selfish. But I don't mind, Christian, having a nice little run in AEW, have him. We've never seen Christian versus Omega, so that might be an interesting matchup. And I wouldn't even be mad at him having that belt for a while either. That might be a long shot because they probably want to keep doing stuff with Omega, but I'm okay with it right now. But we were supposed to see something on Wednesday night. We didn't get to see much of it. I just know that I'm optimistic. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, JJ, I know you predicted CM Punk.
Okay.
But what was your thoughts? What was your thoughts on Christian Cage being the mystery signing, and did he live up to the hype?
Jose, so I'm gonna just put you up to speed with this jerk because I literally said I don't want to hear it's not the fact. I literally said I am going into this.
Give me the cheese, man. Give me all the cheese, man. I want all of it.
I was like, I don't care if I'm wrong. I'm just picking this as a fan. Because we kind of basically got the story that it was going to be Christian. So I didn't make this pick to be right. I made this pick to be a fan. And Christian wasn't going to make me pop out of my chair and be like, oh shit, outwork everyone. Fuck that. Like, why do I, like, what? Oh, he had a, why does that have a countdown? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, outwork everyone. Like, really? Really? Fucking really? So... did a reaction? Okay. It happened. There's just basically to kind of what you would have wanted to see, Jose, is WWE is too selfish to give you what you want as a fan because Christian basically wanted a mid-tier contract to have some working, to basically have a decent working schedule. They was only going to put him on for spots and probably going to job to whoever he was going to fight. And it's not, it's like, yo, you got one final run in you. You feel healthy enough to have one good run. You got options, take them. And I hope this works out for Christian. I really do, because he had about a 5-year span of really bad luck with injuries. Like, he hit his peak. He became the world champion. He had to drop the belt because of injury. And then he came back, just never became himself. SP with the looks. I don't care what your looks are. I don't remember. Christian has had a long history. Christian has had a long history of injuries that has kept him out.
But he was never world champion and had to relinquish the title.
I didn't say he. You used the word relinquish.
You said that he was world champion, and then he got into injuries, and he had to let it go.
Once he lost the title.
No, that wasn't how it went down. He was world champion in 2011. His injuries didn't start until like the end of 2012. I know Christian's career. I'm a fan of Christian. You're not. You've made this clear the last 2 weeks.
I made it clear because of what they made. They blew this thing up to be. I didn't say I'm not a Christian fan. This Christian thing is just it wasn't gonna do anything for me. It just wasn't. I don't care what it wasn't going to do anything for me. He did have an unfortunate string of bad luck, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted. He had a bad string of injuries for a number of years that never allowed him to reestablish himself in the title run. Because he kept going with this one more match angle, which is basically what turned me off on Christian to begin with. That one more match shit just turned me all the way off. Because he just kept coming back for one more match, and then that one more match injures him. He comes back for one more match, that match injures him. And it's like, damn. You might as well just hang it up, son. Just hang it up. So hopefully he's healthy enough to have at least a good 1.5 to 2 year run and it be successful. All the best wishes for Christian, but it didn't do nothing for me.
Okay. I just asked if it lived up to the hype from AEW. But Krssi, what did you think that it lived up to the hype?
No. Jose, he's the king of this shit. He's the king of this shit. Like, he likes throwing these little side subliminal bars and then carries it on to the next topic like you're not going to get the response.
I'm asking Krssi the same question.
Yo, like, he does that shit on a religious basis, yo.
Boys, come on.
Just ask Krssi the question. He just had
So, for me, no, it didn't live up to the hype because I already seen him come out at the Royal Rumble. Yeah, it's on another programming, so what? I don't care. So when he came out, I was like, just like that. Okay, he's coming out. Yay. Woohoo. I am upset, like you said, because SP sold me on a thing that we could have had a good angle because I'm like, well, why did they have Edge win? I wasn't buying it. Why did he have him, win the Royal Rumble? And he's like, no, Krssi, this is what's going to happen. He sold me on that part. So I was ready for it.
Krssi. So this is all your fault, SP. This is all your fault.
I can't help that I have better ideas than WWE.
And I know. It's not your fault. I never said that. I never said that. What I'm saying is that you had me sold on something. I was like, yeah, I can see it. I'm with it. And now he's over there, and I'm like, damn, what they going to do now in, like, 4 weeks? You know what I'm saying? Like, WrestleMania's in, like, 4 weeks, and I still don't see any type of, like, oomph for that match. Do you?
No.
There you go. There's my answer. You didn't even have to answer. Your silence said it all. Your face
right now. Not right now. He
penalizes you for being a fan. He penalizes you for being a fan, but then penalizes you for being wrong. So SP sold this great idea. He sold a great idea to Krssi. Krssi bought it as a fan and wanted to see it. It didn't happen, so it's her fault. I wanted to see something other than Christian. I wanted to see something other than Christian. You're an idiot. It's your fault. It was a fan fault.
You need to stop associating your missteps with Krssi. Krssi is something totally different. I sold her. Can I talk? I sold her on an idea that I had that was better than WWE Creative when they had the opportunity to lock him under a contract. It's not my fault that they don't hire me. I'm on this show. I've been on this show for almost 4 years now. They can hire me. Call me. Like,
I say the same thing, man.
It's something where they say they listen to people, but they really don't. Who are we kidding? They listen to the stuff, but they don't listen to us. They have their own ideas in their own heads. We can say 1,000,001 things that will make fans appreciate and watch and understand these stories, but they don't give a shit because you know what? They're the millionaires, and I'm not. I know I am. I'm not. I live in Brooklyn.
They over there. They counting eight billies.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it's like
a fuck about anything that we gotta say.
Right, we can say it till we're blue in the face, and we can come up with these good ideas, and we're like, damn, if it would have went this way, you know how people would really appreciate or understand this story. And it's like these build-ups we're doing fast lane. I'm deflecting off we're supposed to be talking about Christian, but it's just a shit show of shit. So
Don't let JJ take you on a different road.
Yeah, it's just So I'm sorry, SP. Go ahead.
Take you down a completely different road.
Sometimes it's good to go off the rails.
But the final thing I wanted to touch on with Revolution, we had Sting and Darby Allin defeat Brian Cage and Ricky Starks in a cinematic street fight. A lot of people seemed like they enjoyed it. There were some people that had their mixed reviews. But what was your guys' thoughts on the cinematic street fight and Sting's return for the first time in 6 years? Let's start with you, Jose.
I didn't like it at all. I thought that this street fight was just going to be all around Daly's place with tables all over the place, or even on the football field where, we can have some pretty cool spots. And that's not what we got, man. I was really disappointed. I would have actually preferred to have the exploding barbed wire death match as a cinematic match than to have this match shot cinematic style. I
didn't think about that. That actually sounds good, Jose. That's a good one.
I thought that might have been done. There were some pretty cool spots. The suicide, dive all the way from the top of the wall through the barricade. It was crazy. Some of the spots they had on there. It was entertaining for a cinematic match, but again, it wasn't really what I was expecting. And not to offend any of your listeners or viewers, but I'm just not a Sting fan to begin with. So,
hey, not everybody is gonna be a Sting fan, whether it's 2021 or even 2000. So it's fine, Jose. Krssi, what was your thoughts on Sting's return in the cinematic street fight?
I felt the same way as Jose again because I thought the street fight was going to be all over the arena, not a cinematic type deal. So I mean, I thought it was okay. It could have been. I think it would have been better if it was just like a ring. We go outside the ring. We go all over the place. Like we don't have to be like the other matches that we've seen. But yeah, do a spot by the football field. Like you have this whole plethora of things in this place that you are renting from. Why not use it? Like you could be outside, have a couple of cars there. I don't know, but like I think it could, if it's a street fight, like give me a street fight feeling. And I didn't feel that with that cinematic fight, if that makes sense.
No, makes sense. Top guy JJ, what was your thoughts on Sting's return?
He looked good though.
Sting looked great.
Yeah, he looked good
great.
though.
To answer the question in direct, Sting looked great.
Yes.
But
yes.
It's kind of I wouldn't say, I guess, a piggyback thing, but I guess it's one of those things that you lose the element of the street fight vibe when you take the people out of the street fight. Like, you got people there, you got fans there, you got elements that can have people that's in surrounding there, but when you take every personal element out of it and you just make it this area, like in a hallway, there's no reaction. Like you don't see no reaction, like how you have like a parking lot brawl, or you see something where people are surrounding it, like oh, and you kind of get in that fight feel. There's no fight feel in filming. Like it's literally just a regular like, and that's kind of what I couldn't get into it because I don't know how anyone else is reacting. So it's like if you're not there live, like if it's kind of like one of those things. If you watch something on the Titantron live and you kind of react with your peoples, or if they bring the fight to the crowd, obviously COVID, you can't really get that close to people anymore right now. But you're losing the element of having that street fight feel of having people react to what you're doing. And when you make it camera cinematic style, the whole feeling is gone. So now I'm reacting to this alone.
Yeah.
So I'm a loner reacting to shit that I should be reacting to, but I don't know if I should be reacting to it because I'm doing this by myself. So it kind of was lost during this match. I think it was well executed, but I was lost. I was kind of lost watching this. Like, okay, Sting looked good.
Yeah.
Sting got the win.
Yeah.
That was good.
At the end, that's all that really mattered in this one. Sting looked good. So the other stuff on Revolution, we had the Young Bucks defeat the Inner Circle duo of Chris Jericho and MJF to retain the AEW World Tag Team titles. Rey Fenix and Pac won the Casino Tag Team Royale. A highlight of Jungle Boy John Silver in that one. Ethan Page is revealed as a surprise entrant in the Face of the Revolution ladder match, but Scorpio Sky takes the victory and takes down the ridiculous freaking ring from Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes. Oh man, horrible. Maki Ito was revealed as Britt Baker's surprise partner, and they defeated Thunder Rosa and Riho on the buy-in. Hikaru Shida defeated Ryo Mizunami to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. Hangman Page defeated Matt Hardy to gain Hardy's first quarter profits, thanks to the Dark Order literally having Hangman's back. And Miro and Kip Sabian defeated Orange Cassidy and Chucky T. So regardless of how you feel about Revolution's ending, it was a very, very solid card from top to bottom. We're going to go week 68 of the Wednesday Night Wars. You know how we do on Tru Heel Heat. We give the ratings, we tell what happened, and then you guys decide what was the better show for the week. If you don't like how we do it here, you can check out Wednesday Night Warriors with Romeo and Chris G, where they break down each and every segment and let you know what they thought for the week. But, Krssi Love, hit the drums. So WWE NXT comes in with 691,000 viewers, down slightly from last week with 692,000, to AEW Dynamite, who is down 200,000 viewers, to 734,000. They still beat NXT despite the major drop off in viewership from last week's episode with Shaquille
That's
O'Neal.
that Shaq effect, yo.
Yes.
Right?
Dynamite
damn.
had an incredible closing angle with the Inner Circle War Council, where MJF revealed that he has been making a faction underneath the nose of the Inner Circle this entire time, revealing Wardlow, FTR, Tully Blanchard, and Sean Spears as his stablemates in a brutal attack on the entire Inner Circle, even a returning Sammy Guevara. Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley cut a brilliant promo where they explained the dud explosion at Revolution, with Kingston saying that he passed out from a panic attack, being reminded of when he was being sent to Rikers prison. The Super Elite then used the dud to get heat on themselves, saying that they are happy that they took what the fans wanted away and got into a brawl with Mox and Kingston, but it ended with Christian Cage setting his sights on the AEW World Championship. Rey Fenix beat Matt Jackson in a killer opener. Darby Allin defeated Scorpio Sky in a great TNT Championship matchup. Thunder Rosa, Hikaru Shida, and Ryo Mizunami beat Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, and Maki Ito, which featured one of the greatest things ever.
Yes.
Maki Ito singing her song even after the music is cut while everyone brawled to start the match.
She's the best.
Awesome. And this set up the first ever female main event of AEW Dynamite, as it will be Rosa versus Baker 2 in an anything goes lights out matchup at next week's St. Patrick's Day Slam Dynamite edition. On WWE NXT, Finn Balor defeated Adam Cole to successfully defend the NXT Championship in a stellar TV Match of the Year candidate main event, thanks to a distraction from the returning Kyle O'Reilly. And then
go ahead, sorry.
Then we got an awesome ending to the show as Finn Balor said, "What took you so long?" and turned around to Karrion Kross confronting him. Io Shirai beat Toni Storm to retain the NXT Women's title in a really good opener. William Regal announced that there would be a 2-night takeover on Wednesday, April 7th on USA and Thursday, April 8th on Peacock, as well as introduces the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships and rewards them to Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Then 53 minutes later, Kai and Gonzalez then lost the titles to Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart in a fun matchup. Jordan Devlin announced that he is returning to NXT to confront Santos Escobar and to see who is the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight champion. So a lot went down on both shows. This is not the rare week where one show had a lot of stuff and the other didn't. Both shows gave us really good episodes. Both shows gave us noteworthy stuff. So what was the better show for you this week? Jose, you do a post show over on Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel, The Debrief. You do great stuff over there. I know you break down each show, but we have the very important question, since you do it every week. What was the better show this week?
Oh man, you know, it's really tough to call, because on one side you had tons of championship matches. You have 3 title matches on one show on NXT.
Yeah.
And then on AEW, you have this incredible angle towards the end of the show with the War Council revealing that MJF has been creating his own faction, which, by the way, we're calling on the debrief, we're calling him the Fifth Element instead of calling him the new Horseman. So since there's 5 of them, the Fifth Element, so that's what we're calling them. So that was just an incredible angle, and I'm really looking forward to see what they do with the Inner Circle and the Fifth Element, if that's what they end up calling themselves. But dude, if I have to give from a match standpoint and storyline standpoint, I got to give it to NXT this week, just because of how Adam Cole and Finn Balor ended, with Kyle O'Reilly coming back with the jean jacket, looking like a real young, short-haired Triple H.
Yeah, he looked like one of the T-Birds from the Grease.
Oh, that too, yeah.
That's what he looked like, the T-Birds. Like,
yo!
He was doing the hair.
If I had hair.
I'm like, why was it like one of the T-Birds? He had the jean jacket, he had the Converses on. Like the hair was slicked back. All he needed was a little curl that came down. He was one of the T-Birds. Come on, tell me he wasn't Johnny. Come on.
You know, when he was taking off his armband.
Right.
When he was taking off his armband, I thought he was going to go Grease Lightning.
See?
Jesus.
But yeah, just to have that storyline kind of pick up with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, I think is super important because that's going to lead up to a huge matchup at one of the two nights at TakeOver.
Yep.
So that's set up great. Not to mention the incredible match that we saw between Toni Storm and Io Shirai.
Woo!
This is their third time facing each other. The first two times, Toni Storm got the upper hand. This is the first time Io Shirai got a huge win over Toni Storm. Yep. Not to mention that now she's got her eyes on Raquel Gonzalez because after they lost their titles, she went straight up to her. She's like, "You're next." Like she's got bigger balls than all three of us guys put together. Let's just put Raquel Gonzalez is my girl. I love her. I think she might be the one to dethrone Io Shirai, but that's just me being biased because we share our kin last name, but that's okay. And then not to mention the incredible announcements that William Regal gave us with the 2-night takeovers and the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships and those championships changing hands on the same night. I thought it was a lot to handle, but I think it was great because we need these buildups going into TakeOver. Yes. And I thought they did a better job of giving us these storylines and matches, which were incredible compared to AEW. So my pick, NXT.
So we got one for NXT from Jose, Miss Krssi Love. You are next up. What was the better show, AEW Dynamite or WWE NXT?
Okay, so AEW, first of all, homegirl that sang her song without her music and then goes and hit homegirl with the mic in her head twice. I thought like she was gonna be my winner for the whole. She was my MVP for the whole show. I loved her. I thought she was entertaining. She's so cute, but then she's like a badass and was like "fuck you" at the same time. Who does that? That's great. I love her. I thought AEW was good. It had a good come home show from their from the pay-per-view, and they spoke about everything. They was like, no, we're not going to let you talk about us. We'll talk about it ourselves, and we'll handle it our way. So I could respect that. However, this week NXT Muscle was sitting back and was like, no, we got to put all our money on black. Put everything on black, like we at the casino, and we bet everything. We put it all on the line. I don't think I would have given Raquel and Dakota the belts right away. I would have had them fight for it, and whoever wins would be the first one. But it was
they're the winner of the Dusty Women's Cup. They deserve those championships.
The titles for the
that's my extent. Like, give me something for winning the Dusty Cup. I don't want that crap ass trophy. Throw that shit in the damn garbage. I can't take it with me anyway.
Wait, I'm sorry. I was gonna wait till I go, but you don't give them the title a week after they lost.
Why are we spoiling matters, bro? Like that? Oh yeah.
Why? We all know that there was a lot of shenanigans last week. Okay.
Yes.
We had a Raw official.
A lot of shenanigans. Yeah, she got choked the hell out.
It wasn't the legal person.
It doesn't matter. If you want to do it this way.
It wasn't even an NXT official. You're being biased, Sid.
No, if you want to do it this way, you do Dakota Kai does a German suplex on Shayna Baszler. And the NXT referee comes in, counts to 1, 2, 3. Then Dakota and Raquel are the champions. Then Adam Pearce comes down with the Raw official and says, no, my Raw official just said Dakota Kai's shoulders was down as well. So Shayna and Nia keep the title. So they have a legit claim to being champions. Not they got choked the hell out and they lost, and you're saying, I wasn't the legal person, so they deserve the titles after they just freaking lost. Like, But go ahead, Krssi. I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. I totally get it. But yeah, I just thought that last week was a whole dud, and now we want to say, hey, we got these belts. Y'all had these belts for how long? They didn't make these belts in like a week. You didn't make them in a week. They're beautiful, by the way. They're a little small, but they're beautiful. I like them better than the other girls' ones, so there. But I think NXT really put everything and bet everything and said, we're going to have these 3 championships and let's have a good run to get us to TakeOver for the 2 nights. It's going to be a full-ass week of fucking wrestling that week. I don't know how we're going to survive. I don't know what we're going to do because it's going to be from like Monday to Sunday. It's going to be it's all 7 days worth of stuff.
It's going to be like
I know.
round tables that week.
And you're going to be drunk every day. Have fun. I wish you luck. I would be too. I would do it too. I'm telling you, I would be there drunk with you, friend. I could.
I just want to wish SP luck on scheduling that roundtable schedule.
Of course. So, Krssi,
my winner is going to be NXT for the win for the first time in a long time. Good show, guys. Both shows were great, but NXT took it over for me, and my boy was a T-Bird. I loved it. I fanned out. Go ahead, finish.
Love it. JJ, what was the better show for the week, AEW or NXT?
So I gotta do this as usual. Yes, as usual. So, all right, this was that week where I felt like NXT was just gonna literally go here and here and just smack AEW out the frame. And NXT had a damn good show. That show was very good. Like I like all 3 of the title matches.
Yes.
All 3 of the title matches were excellent. The meat and the potatoes are starting to get there. They're starting to get a little bit more. They're doing a little bit better with this.
A little seasoning.
And then
Adobo.
AEW pulls the coup of coups with MJF at the end, basically creating a double turn. Like, basically turning the Inner Circle faces and him having this all-heel stable. Why does Shawn Spears look out of place everywhere he goes? Like, he doesn't look like he belongs anywhere. Like, he just looked like the weird dude that was just like a camera guy that just you're big, take the camera away, and then you're gonna go fight these guys. Like, he just looked out of place to me. But it wasn't enough to put AEW over the top for me. Like, it wasn't enough. Like, NXT they basically shot all of their shots in this basket here. They shot all of their shots this week. And that's why I popped the cork, especially because this is that rare week that I'm going with NXT because those 3 title matches were all really good. You don't get 3 great title matches on a television show weekly. Yeah. They went all out this week, and I'm going to give them their flowers. I'm going to give them their roses. I'm going with NXT on a strong Wednesday performance, which was shocking as hell to me that their ratings went down. Like, that was just blasphemous. Like, how the hell is that even possible? Like, 3 championship matches, the introduction of the women's tag team championships, even though it was the most dumbest way of doing it possible. Like, they just had a whole fucking tournament. It had a whole tournament to introduce these titles 2 weeks later. Like, and then they give them a shot against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, and it wasn't even on their terms. Like, they just picked when the Dusty Cup winners was going to have the match. Like, they're the tournament winners, and they had no pull or no say-so in any of this. Mm-hmm. And then the illegal person loses, which created this stupid storyline. But it was like, they know they had these titles sitting there forever. They had them titles sitting there. Why they couldn't just reward the shit at the damn takeover? Like, why? Like, why hold it? I just didn't get that part. Like, Nia and Shayna had no reason to go to NXT. They could just stay on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
And just leave it be. Bravo to NXT finally having some women's tag titles, but
finally, yes.
The execution was a little off to me.
So, what did I think was the better show for this week? This was a really close week. Most weeks, honestly, I feel like it's a 10-8 round with AEW. AEW usually winning.
Yes.
This was like a 5-round fight.
Yeah.
And all the rounds went 10-9. And even some of them I could see somebody giving a 9-9 because it was tied for a lot of them. But
I wanted a tie.
But
I wanted to do a tie.
My biggest issue with either show this week was those goddamn NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Like, honestly, both shows were like 9 out of 10 shows, but my biggest issue was the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. I'm all for giving the women more opportunities, especially when you saw the women on the stage and look like a bunch of them. Give them more opportunities. I'm all for them. But this is the most piss poor booking that ahead of time planning that I've seen from the NXT brand in quite some time. Because you had a goddamn tournament, why not make those for the title? If you're gonna bring in the titles, why do the WWE Women's Tag Team title match last week? If you're gonna give them the titles, why have them lose last week?
Yeah.
If they're gonna lose last week, why not do it in a better way? Like, there's so many questions. It's layers upon layers of questions. However, the rest of the show was so strong. Cole versus Balor was brilliant. That was a great TV main event and one of the TV matches of the year already. And not enough is said about Finn Balor is in the best form of his career. As someone that saw him in even New Japan and knew he was great in New Japan, this is the best he's ever been in his career.
Different level.
The O'Reilly matches, the Dunn match, Roger Strong match last week, Adam Cole this week. If he can pull out
another level, man, he's on another level.
If he can pull out a really good or even great match with Karrion Kross, he might be in the question for Wrestler.
If he does that, I'm with you. If he does that, I'm with you.
He might be in that question, but I just love the ending, and that's why this week I'm giving it to NXT, because that ending set up 2 main event matches for your 2-night takeover.
Yes.
You set up O'Reilly and Cole in like this grunge match, and you set up Cross versus Balor. I don't know who wins either of those matches, but that makes them more compelling and more intriguing. But AEW knocked this shit out of the park. Like, I am giving it more to NXT because I don't usually give it to NXT.
Right, we never give it to NXT.
It's very, very close, but I really wanted to give it to AEW because they responded to that dud explosion better than anyone could have guessed it. We got to shout out our guest host from last week, Stephanie Chase. She went on Talk Wrestling in the UK and on other podcasts this week and made the call that Eddie Kingston should say that he had a panic attack, and that's the reason why he passed out. And Eddie did that, so shouts out to her for calling that correctly. But Eddie and Moxley's promo, great. The segment with Kenny Omega, 69 me, Don. 69 me, Don.
Oh my God.
I was like, mad pause.
Oh my God.
Like, yo, pause.
He said, get on all fours. Get on all fours.
I loved his shoes, by the way. This week were great.
God. Kenny Omega was hilarious. That was great. But the closing angle, like, that's where it all comes in, because AEW does this very often. They get you in the direction of one story and then completely make a left turn. They sideswipe you when they're supposed to zag, and it always gets you off of guard, and it also makes you more into the story at hand. And him being able to, we saw Sammy return, we saw the Inner Circle turn on Jericho, then turn back on MJF, and then all along MJF had this plan, because what he originally said, it all came to fruition. He originally said he wanted to learn how to be in a stable. He never really wanted to be in somebody else's stable. He always wanted to be in his own stable, but Jericho thought, he's going to try to get my stable. But no, all he was in the Inner Circle for was to learn how to be in a stable. So he did that, and all along we thought this whole 4 Horsemen thing with FTR, Tully, and Sean was on his own spear, and then they brought the 2 worlds together, and that was just brilliant. That was just a great angle from start to finish. I loved it. I loved a lot of the angles, the matches. Phoenix and Jackson was awesome. That was a great opener. Scorpio Sky versus Darby Allin was fantastic. And Scorpio Sky turning heel afterwards was great. I love the setup of different angles, like Pentagon versus Cody. That was great. I love Hangman with his lawnmower with the Dark Order. Just so much great stuff going on AEW and NXT. It was a great night for the Wednesday Night Wars, but yes, NXT unanimous takes this week. One question before we move on with everything. What do you guys think about Rosa and Baker in the main event for Dynamite next week? Do you think that this is the right choice, the right matchup for AEW to present their first ever women's main event, Jose?
I think so, man. I've been alluding to this for a while that, Britt Baker, if she really wants to become the face of that women's division, they need to put her
she wants to,
in a big main event against a big name. You got the spot, you got the name in Thunder Rosa. So now it's just pulling the trigger and let them both go. Having a lights out match in the main event next Wednesday. That's a history making match right there for both of these women. And I can't be any more proud of them. But yeah, this is Britt Baker's moment right now to really solidify her name in the AEW women's division.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they made it a lights out matchup because a lot of this could be viewed as them like trying to pander to the fans and like all the fans are complaining about the women's. We're just gonna throw a women's main event. No, they really built up this rivalry and the fact that they have established that the unsanctioned lights out match needs to go after all the matches. So it makes sense why this is the main event in so many different ways. Krssi, what's your thoughts?
It's finally, they should have did something, but I guess they had to build up the women and build up this story to have the right girls do it. And I'm ready. I love Dr. Britt Baker and Reba. I'm excited. I don't care which other girl win. I like both of them, and I just want to see a great match. And I think they will deliver such a killer main event for Wednesday.
Absolutely, JJ.
I think this is the perfect time. I think this is the absolute perfect time. And again, this is one of those things that we've been talking about for weeks now in Tru Heel Heat, that we've been seeing the rise of the AEW women's division. Like, you can't just force them into a main event when they don't have the shine that goes with it. The AEW women's division has been shining over the past month. They have been doing some phenomenal things in that division, and they have been doing a great job building. Britt Baker looks like a main event. Like, Britt Baker looks like a main event. She is the perfect woman to be the headliner of this show here when it comes to giving the women their first platform as a main event. I'm all for it. I am all for it. So I absolutely love it. And if I just want to piggyback really quick, I know this is kind of like prior question. The only reason why I really had a gripe with the NXT titles is that it was built off controversy and not off hard work. So that's what the storyline made it look like. We know that division is top notch. It shouldn't have been built on controversy. It should have been built on the road.
Yeah, they basically made it feel like it was a charity gift. Like you guys lost, so here's your consolation prize, and that's not right. That doesn't build, and the fact that they lose the titles less than an hour later, it doesn't build prestige for these new titles. So yes, but we got to move on, guys. There was more going on throughout the week. Raw, we had Bobby Lashley with a brand new entrance defeated the Reigns to retain the WWE Championship. We had another Drew versus Sheamus banger that went to a no contest this time when they banged steel steps together. AJ Styles defeated Randy Orton in the main event thanks to Alexa Bliss summoning black goo out of his mouth. But Top Guy JJ, what was your thoughts on Lashley's new entrance?
Yo, have you ever seen something so over the top but it was so worth it? Like, that was like literally Attitude Era, Titantron video, pyro. Like, yo, when it was like, it just looked like one of those entrances that were just made it out of theatrics. It was like the God just came out. The Almighty. Like, it was so extra. It was so extra. But it was so perfect. Like, it was like, he got his due. Give that man his flowers. That's all I saw out of that entrance, that he got his motherfucking flowers, and this looks like the WWE is invested in this man, and he is going to take this Raw brand to places that it needs to desperately return to.
Absolutely. Raw's got good place with Bobby Lashley on top for sure. We also missed Impact Wrestling, which had huge news this week out of this episode with Scott D'Amore announcing that this Saturday's Sacrifice main event of Ritz Swann versus Moose will not only be for the Impact World title, but will also be for the TNA Heavyweight Championship. And the winner of that match will face Kenny Omega in a title versus title match for both the AEW and Impact World Championships at Rebellion on Saturday, April 24th. Jose, what is your thoughts on this huge matchup that can really shake the landscape of professional wrestling?
So just to be upfront with all of you guys, I only watch Impact clips. Okay, I only watch what's kind of like the main stuff of what's going on.
Don't worry. These two are similar.
Oh, we're here.
It's only my gimmick to watch everything, Jose.
Listen, I watch almost everything, but dude, it's not enough hours in the day for me to catch up with
everything. A full-time job. This shit is hard.
It really is, dude. Like my life is consumed by wrestling. It's almost driving my wife crazy. So, but to the point of having this unification title match, it's time we had one definitive champion. TNA doesn't exist anymore. It's now Impact. And I hope we get a new belt design off of this, which will be great. I'm kind of hoping Moose is going to be our man because I've been following Moose for a long, long time. And I think this is his time. And seeing Moose versus Omega. Woo! That just gave me chills.
Feel it.
That gave me chills. I don't know who to pick out of that, but I just know that's gonna be a banger of a match if that's what we get on the 24th.
Oh, absolutely. I see it going a different type of way than what you just said, but we'll get into it when we do our predictions for Sacrifice. We also missed this week MLW Fusion as we got further allusions to the Azteca Underground and El Jefe on this episode, with Alexander Hammerstone beating LA Park to retain the MLW Openweight Championship, and then Hammer was attacked by Mil Mortez. And then finally, New Japan Cup is ongoing. We talked about it a little starting off last week on Tru Heel Heat 115. Earlier this week, we had Evil defeating Jeff Cobb and Toriano beating Great O'Khan. So it will be Evil versus Yano in the Elite 8. But we have other second round matchups coming up. You got Goto versus Shingo Takagi. Takagi defeated Okada in an awesome match, probably the match of the tournament so far during the week. Minoru Suzuki will versus Kenta. Suzuki had a great match with Homa this week. We're going to see Zack Sabre Jr. versus Will Ospreay, Yuji Nagata versus Sanada, David Finlay versus Yoshihashi, and Jay White versus Tanahashi. We weren't able to do it last week with predict who we think is going to win the New Japan Cup. So I will ask you guys this week, out of the people that is left, who do you think wins the New Japan Cup? We'll start with you, Top Guy JJ. You got Evil, you got Yano, Goto, Shingo, Suzuki, Kenta, Sabre, Ospreay, Nagata, Sanada, Finlay, Yoshihashi, Switchblade, or the Ace.
Damn, Jesus! You lost me like 2
names
names ago.
That's like the most impossible choice of choices to make.
It really is.
To win this entire cup. Like my heart is gonna go Ospreay. Like I want Ospreay to reclaim that 2019 badass, unstoppable wrestler of the year vibes. Like I need that in my life. I need to see Will Ospreay in that spot. But it just like, it's like, I mean, the only person that I know that's not winning this cup is the Ace, unfortunately. But everybody else seems like it's a damn toss-up. But, I'm just going to go with my heart. I'm going with my heart. Fuck it. I'm a fan. I'm going with Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, pull this shit out, even though I have a feeling it will be Jay White. But fuck it. I'm going with Will Ospreay.
We got one for Will Ospreay. Krssi Love, who do you have? You're on a winning streak. I think you predicted the G1. You predicted World Tag League and Best of Super Juniors. All correct. So who do you got in the New Japan Cup? You need the names one more time.
I got my pick out of the pick. I'm gonna go with Mr. Jay White. for sure, because my other boo is not,
He's
or whatever. He's the champ, right? And he's gonna lose, so I can't bet on. I could bet for him.
Well,
but
he's not in it.
He's
But
not
that's
even
what I
in the
mean.
cup.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not in it, so I can't pick him. But I'm gonna go with Jay White.
Okay. We got one for Jay White, one for Will Ospreay. Jose, who do you got in the New Japan Cup?
It's going to be Switchblade, bro. Switchblade Jay White. The guy's been on the up and up. Now that he just re-signed and he's going to be hanging out with New Japan, that's going to be New Japan's next top guy.
Yeah.
If not the top guy for the next year or two. So, Jay White, Kenta, a strong second.
Kenta would be very, very interesting. Him and Kota Ibushi, they versed in Kenta's first G1, and Kenta got the victory. Kota Ibushi has never beaten Kenta, so that would be a very interesting one. But very rare case here on Tru Heel Heat that I will agree with Top Guy JJ. And I
Yes,
think
he
Will
was the
Ospreay
Ospreay
Will
machine.
Ospreay will win the New Japan Cup, and we get Ospreay versus Ibushi, which chef's
Yo!
kiss.
That's
That's
going to be
That's
great.
like a 27-star match waiting to happen. Like,
27 star.
Like, that
Dave
shit is
Meltzer-
like wrestling
Dave Meltzer's gonna be
orgasm
jacking
after
up
orgasm.
stars.
That's
Gonna be-
wrestling orgasm. Yo, that's what I'm saying.
Rainbows.
That shit is like wrestling orgasm after orgasm. Like, that shit is like the pinnacle.
Yes.
I could see all the
Oh
sparks
my
in their
God.
basement just going, oh my
Oh my
I
God.
watched that match for like
False
2 hours and just be like, ugh.
Only reason I don't go Jay White is because I think it's too soon to do Ibushi Jay White again after Wrestle Kingdom, and I just think that Will Ospreay needs this victory a little bit more. They've been getting behind the United Empire, and this would be a big win to kind of establish him back in the main event scene. But all good choices all around for New Japan Cup. Follow the YouTube channel as J News will cover it. You're gonna see nights 1 through 3 review as well as nights 4 through 6 over the weekend. So check that out. A couple of other news notes that we got to touch on before we get to Impact Sacrifice. WWE news: F4W Online reports that John Larronitis has returned to the WWE to serve as the head of talent relations. Laurinaitis. People power. Larronitis or Laryngitis will report to WWE Executive Vice President of Operations Brad Bloom, and the official title for him will be General Manager of Talent, and he will begin immediately. The Talent Relations Department is split into Talent Management and Talent Branding, so he's going to be a part of Talent Management. What are
I
your
always
thoughts?
like to go backwards. I don't get it.
What are your thoughts on Larronitis returning to the WWE, Jose?
Why? Why? And this is just another example of the higher ups in WWE, reaching in the bag of legends and bringing them back, not only on the TV aspect, but even on the behind the stage aspect. So it's a little, I don't know, like,
Backwards.
yeah, it really is. They could, why not? Like, make Shawn Michaels, one of those guys, like bring him more into an official business. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas, but
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Listen, as long as Larronitis is not going to be a TV personality, I'm okay. I don't need to see him on TV. He can do all his talent relations stuff behind the TV camera, behind the scenes. I don't need to see his face. I don't need to hear his raspy voice.
Oh,
Yeah.
you don't want to see the white suit with the red tie?
Oh, you
God.
don't want to see Larronitis defeat Roman Reigns in a main event of a pay-per-view?
No,
He has beaten other top guys. He has that under his belt. But yeah, we should definitely move on. During this week's The Bump, WWE announced that the 2021 Hall of Fame will take place on Tuesday, April 6th on the Peacock Network, and will have both the 2020 class of Batista, the Bella Twins, the British Bulldog, JBL, Jushin Thunder Liger, and the NWO in a brand new 2021 class. Speaking of which, Molly Holly was announced as the first inductee of the 2021 WWE Hall of Fame. Molly Holly had a long career with WWE, former women's champion, definitely a bunch of successful stints with the likes of the Hurricane, Spike Dudley. She was even a manager for the Macho Man in WCW. Krssi Love, what's your thoughts on Molly Holly being the first inductee for the 2021 class?
Give her flowers. It's deserved. I remember when it was her being I first seen her in WCW with Macho Man and Gorgeous George. So
Yes.
give her flowers. Like she had the long blue dress on and white gloves. So I remember those days. Oh, those were good days.
Miss Madness.
Yes, Miss Madness. Yes, she was the princess. Yes, that was her name. Correct. But yeah, give her flowers. That's a good pick for the women. That's because we get one for the year, so
Yes, I'm gonna go to JJ and Jose for this one. Name one woman you would like to see next up to join the Hall of Fame. Since pretty much the Hall of Fame, I said it on Wrestling Daily this week. I'll say it here. The Hall of Fame works like AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite, they only can have one women's match. The Hall of Fame can only have one woman join the Hall of Fame. So
right every year one. So.
who do you think should be the next up, Jose?
Why haven't we inducted China?
Absolutely.
It needs to be China. They need to get over that petty stuff from years ago that happened over 20 years ago.
She's dead, for Christ's sake.
And she's
Can't
dead.
even say anything.
Listen, if it wasn't for China, we wouldn't have a lot of the stuff that we have with the women right now. They want to credit it to a lot of the women's revolution in this last year, but the real person that launched all of this is China. China's the first woman to be in a Royal Rumble, the first woman to be an intercontinental champion. Why is she not in the Hall of Fame? And I will always advocate for China to be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree. JJ?
I am only not going to second that because that is the most obvious one. So I'm going to try and veer this a little different because China is the obvious. Like China, like if whatever reason she's not in that shit, get over it. Like whatever reason she's not in it, get over it. I'm going to go with one woman though, and she is probably not going to be the most popular choice. But she did have a nice little kickstart to the women in the wrestling part of the Attitude Era, and I'm gonna go with Sable. I feel that Sable was one of those multiverse, sexy / wrestlers that actually attempted to be a wrestler along with being beautiful. Like she tried it, but Sable was she was a stick figure first, obviously. She was a stick figure to be in the beautiful, sexy, the eye-popping one for Fully Loaded with the hands on the breast and everything. Yeah. But then she actually took being a wrestler serious for a while.
Yeah, she did.
So, and then she became women's champion, and she had a pretty decent run for all the women who want to be me and for all the men who come to see me. Why isn't Sable in that bitch? Like, why isn't Sable in there?
It's a good question.
And Sable is also another history-making woman in the WWE and in professional wrestling. The first woman to grace the cover in the from WWE, the cover of Playboy. Yeah, that was a huge deal back then.
Twice. She did it.
And she did it twice.
She was one of those first stars, especially of the Attitude Era, that kind of go mainstream. Like you had your Rock, you had your Austin, you had your DX, and then Sable was in that.
She was in that era. Yes, she is a part of that era. She's one of the women, and she had her thing with Jacqueline. She had a whole bunch of she had a whole bunch.
That feud with Jackie was awesome.
Right, like you can't forget those things. If Jackie is in there, Trish is in there, Lita's in there. She's one of the girls that should have been there before them. If you want to.
I'll never forget the Monday Night Raw back in 1998 when I was in high school. That just shows my age, by the way. The Sable bomb delivered to Jacqueline that made her boobies pop out on live TV.
On live TV, yes.
That was great for a 17-year-old me. I was like, yes.
Yes. There's those accidental.
Sorry, not to be too misogynistic. I'm sorry, Krssi.
Those accidental slips are very exciting for a teenage boy. Yes. Also, a little bit of more news from WWE. Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio noted that WWE has a goal of 30,000 tickets per night for the 2-night WrestleMania 37 event. According to Meltzer as well, unless Vince McMahon decides he suddenly likes and wants to use Aleister Black, the wrestler will be stuck in catering until his contract runs out. In January, it was reported that Black has not been backstage since WWE released his wife, former WWE superstar Selena Vega, aka Thea Trinidad, in November. WWE has also issued a new press release announcing that WWE Network will officially shut down. On April 4th as part of the transition to Peacock. The actual transition begins on March 18th as WWE Fastlane will be presented on the network and Peacock. WrestleMania, however, will be exclusively on Peacock. So, are you guys already prepared and canceled the WWE Network?
I haven't canceled it yet, but
I have for
I
sure.
downloaded my the Peacock app today and see how I could do it, but I gotta cancel my other one to get into that one. Is that how it works?
No, you
I
need
was
to
so
cancel.
confused. I don't know how it works.
Cancel WWE Network so you don't charge for
No.
March.
So what happens? So basically,
Oh, they're gonna.
if you
Oh shit!
if you
Oh, they already
pay,
charged me for March.
so
So I'm good.
yeah,
Right,
my
that's
subscription.
I'm already too late. Damn.
Yeah, my subscription is fan friendly because my subscription to the network is on the 2nd of every month. So basically, if you have the service and you've already paid, you'll have it for the rest of the month. If you cancel it before your new cycle, if your cycle is like on the 17th, unfortunately, you're gonna have to cancel right before then and then pay that $9.99 for Peacock. So you might be one of those middle tier people if your subscription is in the middle of.
I'm a middle tier
So you
person.
have to get rid of it before the middle of the month so you can get the service on there. So get rid of the network basically. You can watch it for the rest of the 2 weeks, but rest of the week. You have 1 week. You have 1 week actually.
I
There
already
you
got
go.
Peacock, so I'm good. I've been happy with that, so I'm
And
good.
Peacock is actually a good service because you get more things than just the network. Just pay the $9.99 for the no ads.
There you go. We're helping everyone here on Tru Heel Heat. And then finally, Raw drew 1.896 million viewers, while SmackDown did 2.252 million viewers. AEW News, in a tweet by Dax Hartwood, it was speculated that Chad Gable's WWE contract may be up in 2 months, and he can possibly go to AEW, which I would love to see. AEW announced that Double or Nothing will take place on Sunday, May 30th from Jacksonville, Florida. In New Japan news, Fightful Select reports that New Japan has dropped any and all footage of Marty Scurll filmed during the most recent New Japan Strong tapings and says that the company will not be working with Scurll. The report also notes that several talents stated that if New Japan let them know Scurll was performing, they would not have worked the tapings. We talked about this on Tru Heel Heat 114, so that's a little update right there. ROH news, ROH announced that their 19th anniversary show will be on Friday, March 26th at 8 p.m. The main event will be Roosh defending the ROH World Championship against former champion Jay Lethal after Lethal defeated Matt Taven, EC3, and Jay Briscoe in a four-corner survival. And we're also going to see EC3 versus Jay Briscoe in a grudge match. And then the final news note, MLW announces that their next special event will be on Wednesday, March 31st, Never Say Never, which will be main evented by Jacob Fatu versus Calvin Takeman for the MLW Heavyweight Championship. So finally, we got to our last segment, Impact Sacrifice. It's the latest Impact Plus special, and they got a couple of big matches, a couple of title matches. We're only going to get the predictions for us for the title matches on this card, but they're also going to see Decay, Crazy Steve, Black Torres, and with Rosemary versus Reno Scum. You're also going to see James Storm and Chris Sabin with Jake Something versus Violent by Design, Joe Doring and Diener with Eric Young. Havoc and Nevaeh will versus Tennille Dashwood and Caleb with a K. They're going to be a home harmless match, which means anything goes. Eddie Edwards versus Brian Myers. The first match we will predict from the card, though, is for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team titles, as it's going to be Tasha Steelz and Kira Hogan, Fire and Flava will versus Jordan Grace and Jazz. Jordan Grace and Jazz earned the number one contendership a couple of weeks ago. They've been going back and forth with Steelz and Hogan over the last couple of weeks. Jazz got a victory over Steelz on the most recent episode of Impact Wrestling on Access. But who wins the Impact Tag Team titles match? Let's start with you, Krssi Love. Fire and Flava versus Jordan Grace and Jazz.
Fire and Flava for the win, friend.
One for Fire and Flava. Jose, who you got?
I'm gonna go Fire and Flavor, man. That's just a fun tag team name. I mean, who doesn't want to have a team that's called Fire and Flavor and be the tag team champions?
Right.
I'm just by pure name and not really having known any background on this tag team, I'm gonna go Fire and Flavor.
Well, to confirm that you made the right choice, Jose, Tasha Steelz is Puerto Rican. So you made a wise decision. It's like your internal freaking told you to pick them.
The internal Rican.
The homing device, I felt it. Like I was like, Flavor, I got it.
There you go. JJ, who you got?
Of course, Fire and Flavor, man. Like I just don't see Jazz winning tag titles in 2021. Like I just don't see it.
I'm happy for Jazz to be out there. I know it's great for Tasha and Kira. I know Jazz is someone that they probably looked up to. So to be in there, mixing it up with them is great for their career. But yes, I'm going to agree with you guys. Unanimous. Fire and Flavor get the victory here. Impact X Division Championship is on the line as it's going to be TJP defending against Ace Austin. Ace Austin won the Super X Cup back in the end of 2020, and then coming into this year, he won a triple threat match with Black Torres and Chris Bay to earn the #1 contendership for the X Division Championship. So who wins, TJP versus Ace Austin? Top guy JJ.
Ace Austin, you know I ain't picking TJP in no matches.
Fair enough.
The shade and the hate is real for TJP. What's up with that, bro?
I keep the same energy. The energy is the same. That shit don't change. TJP is whack as fuck.
What?
Oh my
bro,
god.
You crazy.
The energy is the same. It ain't changing.
Listen, you got, okay?
It could be TJP on this podcast himself. I still pick against TJP.
JJ, I am going to respectfully disagree with you. How dare you put that type of hate on TJP, bro? Did you not watch the CWC in 2016?
Yes, the video game Mega Man entrance is dope as fuck. And then everything after that was downhill.
Agreed that he is underutilized, but dude, TJP is one of the best performers inside that ring, bro. Technically, he is one of the most technically gifted guys in that ring. So my pick is going to be, I Want to Love You, TJP.
I love it. Krssi, who you got? TJP.
I never want to hear that again.
I'm gonna pick TJP for the win.
I believe that TJP might win this matchup, but I'm gonna go with my heart on this one, and I'm gonna go with Ace Austin for the victory here. But I think this is going to be a really great matchup. Next up, Impact Knockouts Championship is on the line as it's going to be Deonna Purrazzo defending against ODB. ODB is one of the great Knockouts champions in the history of Impact Wrestling. She returned to the promotion a couple of weeks ago to assist Jordan Grace and Jazz against Deonna Purrazzo, Kimberly, and Susan, and got attacked by Deonna Purrazzo backstage, which set the stage for this matchup at Sacrifice. So here you got Deonna versus ODB. Krssi Love.
Give me Deonna, please, for the win.
Deonna for the win, JJ.
I have a feeling this is where they're going to get a little funny here, and ODB is going to pull off the upset on some weird shit. Like, I'm going to go with ODB on an upset on a very short title run for her, but it's why she come back? Why come back?
Why come back if not for a championship run? Of course, just ask Edge. Jose, who do you got, ODB or Deonna?
I'm very biased on Deonna Purrazzo, man. The virtuosa. Man, I was really disappointed that she did not get the run that she deserved in NXT. I'm very happy that she's doing well in Impact, and she's going to continue doing that when she defeats ODB.
Yes, it doesn't feel like this is the time to take the title off of Deonna. She had that false stop, then start when she lost it to Su Yung and then won it back. So I think she's going to get the victory here. Impact World Tag Team Championships is on the line. Interpromotional matchup as it's going to be New Japan Pro Wrestling's Finn Juice, David Finlay, and Juice Robinson getting a shot at the titles of the Good Brothers. The Good Brothers were basically stars in New Japan when David Finlay and Juice were young boys and they used to carry around their bags. But now, 6 years later, Finn Juice are former IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. They have come to Impact Wrestling to make an impact, pun intended, and win the titles. So they are up against their former mentors, if you want to say. So who wins this matchup? Good Brothers versus Finn Juice. Let's start with Jose.
Dude, I'm a huge Juice Robinson fan. I love that guy. Even when he was back here in NXT. I mean, the guy was just amazing. But he just really grown in New Japan. And David Finlay too, man. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But right now they got a great thing going on with the Kenny Omega angle and the Good Brothers. So the Good Brothers are definitely retaining this.
Mm-hmm.
Krssi, who you got? Good Brothers or Finn Juice?
Good Brothers for the win, because they're gonna have to go, bring them over when they see him at AEW. So, Good Brothers, please.
That's fair. Top guy JJ.
Yeah, you can't break up the Golden Faction right now. You can't break up the Golden Faction, bro. That ain't happening at the expense of Finn Juice. I'm sorry. Finn Juice ain't worth it.
I agree with you guys, unanimous. The Good Brothers get the victory and retain the titles. And I think probably at Rebellion, we either get Good Brothers versus the Young Bucks for both the AEW and Impact World Tag Team titles to make that like the biggest Impact pay-per-view ever, or we get the Good Brothers versus Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston for the Impact World Tag Team titles. I would love to see either one of those matches.
You can't go wrong.
Finally, at this Impact Plus special, the main event is very important. The winner of this match will move on to verse Kenny Omega for the AEW and Impact World Championships at Rebellion on April 24th. But this match has really been the longest running rivalry in Impact. After Ritz Swann won the world title at Bound for Glory, it was Moose, who was the TNA Heavyweight Champion, has been the TNA Heavyweight Champion ever since Tessa Blanchard was Impact World Champion and had left the company. Moose filled in as TNA Heavyweight Champion, which wasn't recognized by the company. He beat EC3. Finally got it recognized by Scott D'Amore, but has been stalking Ritz Swann for the last couple of months. Beat down Willie Mack, even lost an I Quit match to get the opportunity at the Impact World title that Ritz Swann granted to him. But in all intents and purposes, this probably would have been the main event for either Hard to Kill or Rebellion, but because of Kenny Omega coming in, we get the main event right here at Sacrifice for the Impact World title and TNA Heavyweight Championships. Who wins? Ritz Swann versus Moose. Krssi Love, let's start with you.
Oh, I'm going to say Moose for the win.
Moose for the victory to move on and verse Omega at Rebellion. Top guy JJ.
All I want is Moose versus Omega. Moose versus Omega. That is the only words that I've been saying is Moose versus Omega. Moose versus Omega. Moose versus Omega. Like, Ritz Swann, this is not a knock to you, brother, but this spotlight belongs to Moose. Moose deserves this more than anybody in that company right now.
So we got 2 for Moose. Jose?
Moose! 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 Hell yeah, bro. Moose all day, every day. JJ couldn't have put it any better, bro. This guy deserves it. And listen, Kenny Omega may have had 6-star matches in Japan and 5-star matches here in AEW, but he's never gone up against someone like the likes of Moose.
Right.
Especially this version of Moose.
Exactly. This version of Moose. This is the most dangerous version of Moose I've ever seen. The most dominant. And I want to see that so bad. So yeah, Moose, bro. Moose is definitely getting to win, taking that title away from Ritz Swann.
Everyone going for Moose. But your boy SP3, because you're not thinking of the smart money, ladies and gentlemen. The smart money is Ritz Swann, wins these titles, he versus Omega, because whoever walks in to verse Omega at Rebellion is losing. And you don't have Moose win the titles to lose it a month later. That's not smart money. What makes more sense and completes Moose's story altogether? Moose has been TNA heavyweight champion, been going against the company. He's saying, you guys don't have a real world champion. I'm the real world champion. Moose loses this matchup. Kenny Omega wins the Impact World title, unifies the Impact World title with the AEW World title. He's belt collecting, but the Impact World title has to get back to Impact Wrestling. So who's their savior? The guy that's been against them the whole time. The guy that had to make up his own title to be recognized as the real world champion is the guy that saves the title from the tyrant of Kenny Omega, and Moose defeats Omega for the Impact World title, whether that's months down the road, Bound for Glory in October. The whole story, that makes more sense. Whoever goes into Rebellion is losing to Omega, so it shouldn't be Moose. I got Ritz Swann winning that sacrifice.
Okay. Love to see it.
You know when you explain it that way,
Right.
Yeah, he has a tendency of he has the story tendency. Like if anybody watches the Blacklist, right? If you watch the Blacklist and you know how Reddington gives you the story before you die, he gives you this cool story of what to eat before you die, and then he kills you before you get to have that meal. You've already eaten the shit, and then he gives you this beautiful story behind the shit pick that you probably think you've made. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it.
I'm not changing. I'm not changing my pick.
We want motherfucking Moose.
We do want motherfucking Moose.
I get it. But yes, that brings us to a close on Tru Heel Heat 116. Check out the lineup on our YouTube channel right now. You got the AEW Revolution Roundtable review. It was a crazy, fun, full podcast breaking down everything that happened on that show, as well as Tru Heel Heat 115 with Stephanie Chase. That was just a blast of a podcast that really flew by. You also got the latest Wednesday Night Warriors AE recap, True Rewind, J News Japan, as well as Review of Honor and Dark Power, and you're gonna see my very exclusive interview with Georgia Smith, the daughter of the British Bulldog. We talk about everything, including how she found out about her dad's Hall of Fame induction, as well as her experience being in the Angle in MLW with her brother and Alexander Hammerstone, and her thoughts on the current wrestling scene in comparison to when her father was on top. So check that out. That's up on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel right now. But thank you to Jose Gonzalez for joining us on Tru Heel Heat 116. One of the best backgrounds we had for a guest host. Some great analysis and some bias towards Moose. I love it. Love it all. Love it all. Thank you, sir. But please tell the people watching where they can find all your great work, whether that be on Sportskeeda, Ricans of Wrestling, and everywhere else between.
So you guys can follow all of our content for Ricans of Wrestling on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. It's just like it sounds, Ricans of Wrestling. You guys can also follow me daily at SK Wrestling. We report daily news roundups, so you guys can catch me on those videos. Every Wednesday night, we got the SK debrief, and I'm always on. So if I'm not doing a podcast, I'm doing a video. If I'm not doing a video, I'm doing an interview. So I'm always available. So, guys, thank you so much for having me.
Well, it was great having you. You are welcome back anytime, good sir. So thank you for coming on Tru Heel Heat. Top Guy JJ, tell them where they can find you on social media.
Instagram, you can find me at TrueHeel_Top Guy JJ. That's Instagram, Facebook. I am Justin Johnson. I am making a pitch to all of my True Heels right now. We have had a ton of guests here. If we are ready in Texas, we need to make this the biggest True Heel party ever in Texas next year, because that's where all the shit is going down next year. That's where Texas is culminating the WrestleMania weekend from, because we can all gravitate, and my God, the celebration would be fucking epic.
Be marvelous. Miss Krssi Love, where can they find you on social media?
I'm the sensationalist Krssi Love. You can find me on IG, Twitter, and on Facebook. It's Krssi Love _ or Miss Krssi Love, and just plain Crystal Lynch.
Absolutely, and you can find me on Twitter at Tru Heel SP3. Check out the community wall on our channel. You can see my latest appearance on Alex McCarthy's Wrestling Daily, where we discussed our Mount Rushmore of ruthless aggression, missed opportunities. Also, powered for SP3 with myself and John Scott as we discuss AEW Revolution, and I'll be on the SK Wrestling YouTube channel with Smack Talk with myself and Rick Ucchino, following SmackDown, so you can check that out right now if you're watching this episode. And of course, you can follow Tru Heel Heat on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as our friends at Wrestling Travel, Warrior Wrestling, Mission Pro Wrestling, and Battle Club Pro. You can also subscribe to Battle Club Pro, My Battery is Dying, which is Marcus Cash YouTube channel, Jimmy Macaram, Wrestling Travel, the Wrestling Daily YouTube channel, as well as SK Wrestling. And of course, like this video, share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family. Of course, there is the iCard or the subscribe button to subscribe to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. Press the bell and press all so you always get a notification for all the great content. You can also listen to Tru Heel Heat on iTunes, SoundCloud, or wherever you listen to your favorite audio podcast. And of course, you can watch Tru Heel Heat on Powered 4 TV. So until Tru Heel Heat 117 next week, for our special guest, Jose Gonzalez of Ricans of Wrestling and Sportskeeda Wrestling. For the beautiful, the lovely Miss Krssi Love. For our resident Tru Heel alcoholic, Top Guy JJ. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. This has been Tru Heel Heat 116. We are signing off until next time.